Afternoon from sunny California again. It's me, Jason Dunford, here with J Talk Live, and I'm very excited to welcome Malte Kramer to J Talk this afternoon. Malte, another student here with me, has a fascinating background and set of things that he's up to right now. So Malte, welcome.
Thanks.
Pleasure to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
So Malte, you're from Germany. You grew up playing basketball. So we connect on the athlete past. Can you tell us a little bit about what that was like growing up as a basketball player, and then your journey to the US?
So I grew up actually. First, I played soccer as a kid, as most kids in Germany do, and at some point.
But your granddad played in the Bundesliga, right?
Exactly. My granddad actually played in the Olympics for the German national team.
Oh wow!
And played in the German final. Back then they had sort of a playoff system in the Bundesliga, and he played in the final as a goalkeeper. So I grew up kind of hearing his stories about being an athlete and had aspirations to become a professional soccer player as well.
Okay.
And at some point, a friend of mine asked me to come to basketball practice with him, and I tried it out, and I loved it. And from that moment on, I was hooked, and it became, my life basically for a very long time.
Yeah.
And in Germany, basketball is not the number one sport, but it's been getting bigger, and I just fell in love with the game. And then went through the club ranks in Germany and got picked up by the professional team in my city when I was 15. Practiced with them for a year, and then became a professional player. Played for another team then after I finished high school for a year, and then went to the US to play college basketball.
What prompted that decision? Was it to come to the US? Was it just to get better at basketball, or?
So I actually spent a year as an exchange student back in my junior year of high school in the US. This was an academic program, but I ended up living with a host family in Texas for a year and playing basketball for the high school team. And it was a huge high school in Texas, and I experienced for the first time what sports in the US is like.
Yeah.
With playing high school basketball in front of thousands of people and having a whole town that really rallies behind the team.
Yeah.
And so that experience prompted me to say, I got to come back here, I got to play college basketball. And I knew it would be hard to go straight from Germany without having proved myself in a professional setting. And so I did that, and I used the video clips from that to send it out to coaches and to get recruited and ultimately earn a scholarship here.
Yeah, that story definitely resonates with me when I was thinking about coming to swim in the US and just taking it to the next level, and kind of the ecosystem that coalesces around college sports. It's quite incredible. So for you, you were at junior college and then went to Pepperdine, played there a couple of years, and you went through this transition where you're thinking about potentially going pro afterwards, or and then you started a business, so you had this entrepreneurship thing going on. Can you take us through what that thought process was like, and how you came to that decision?
Yeah, for me, the big change, I guess, the big shift in mindset happened when I got injured my junior year in college, and I had a knee surgery. I was out of practice for half a year, and that really made me reevaluate sort of how I was looking at my life. And I figured out, I'm not going to be playing basketball forever. At some point, I got to find my next passion, my next thing that I want to, that I can get excited about. And for me, that was entrepreneurship, and I was fortunate to be able to start a company towards the end of my senior year in college. And so when I graduated, it was the decision, do I take offers from Germany and play professionally for a few more years, or do I stay and start establishing a professional career as an entrepreneur here in California? And I knew ultimately I would have to make that switch, and I felt like I might not get the chance again to do it in California with the kind of network that I built, and so it just made sense to make the switch then.
Fantastic. And you've actually written a book about that exact journey, Play for Something. Yeah. I'm lucky to have got my copy a few days ago. I've been skimming through it.
Thanks for buying a copy.
I'm going to have you sign it, by the way. Some really great advice here and strategies for college athletes, but not only college athletes, but all sorts of people. How they can start thinking about their lives beyond athletics, but for all of us, just improving our performance. What are some key learnings or key things that you think are important that came out of this?
So the way I thought about this book, it made me really analyze what I was doing in my life that allowed me to be successful. And a lot of these things revolved around skills that I'd learned as an athlete that I learned to apply to a business setting or to an academic setting in school. And a lot of the lessons that I learned around how to be self-disciplined, how to prioritize well, how to manage your time more effectively than others. And so those are the lessons around how to do it. It also talks a lot about the inspiration that you draw from different things in your life and how you can figure out to be really motivated and excited about whatever it is you're doing. And that's something that as an athlete I had to learn. You know, when you're doing 4 a.m. workouts, you have to find a way to get excited about these things that really are tough and are not a lot of fun unless you find ways to create a bigger vision of why you're doing that. And you can do the same thing for your work. You can do the same thing if you're in school. You just got to hone in on sort of what really matters to you and why you're doing the things you're doing. And so that's the main focus of the book, is helping people understand themselves better and understand the vision and creating that vision for themselves.
Great. And this is the first book you've written?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And what was that process like, the writing process?
So towards the end of my career at Pepperdine, I got asked a lot by teammates who knew I was getting really good grades. They asked me, how do you do it? How do you get good grades? And you always, social and fun and going out. It seems like you're still having fun, and you're starting a company. How do you manage that all in
a lot.
very little time?
Yeah.
And so I started just writing down sort of the processes that I developed, and over time, in the beginning it was more like little articles, and then I started just putting it together, spending my weekends writing this, and over the next year or so I turned it into just a collection of different strategies that had worked for me before.
Fantastic. And then your startup, you've done a couple of startups, but your one that you're kind of working on now is Luxury Presence, right?
Yeah.
And that's a real estate platform.
Right. A real estate marketing platform, specifically for luxury real estate agents.
Wow.
And we provide them with a platform to build their website on. You can think of it as a Squarespace for real estate, and all the back-end functionalities that a luxury real estate agent needs. We've also created this exclusive network of some of the top real estate agents here in the U.S. It's an invite-only referral network between them.
Amazing.
And it's been an exciting company to start.
What's the most spectacular house you've had listed?
On our platform? Yeah. So actually, one of our clients, her name is Jade Mills. She is right now the #1 agent for the biggest brokerage in the world, for Coldwell Banker, and she just sold the Playboy Mansion for $100 million in LA. And this was last summer, setting the record, I think, in LA County for the highest priced sale of all time. So we've had a few homes like that in the $50 to $100 million range. Mostly in Beverly Hills, Manhattan, those areas. Yeah.
And your year here at Stanford, are there some skills you picked up that you feel are helping you with that company, and thoughts about what's next for you, or is that you're going to be working on the company for the next few years? Yeah,
so I definitely see myself working on the company for the next few years. Absolutely. As far as the skills here, I would say I've learned a lot about working with technical people more efficiently. I've also expanded sort of the way that I look at technology and kind of trying to predict where certain technologies are going and how they can be used to, I guess the word that comes to mind is disrupt an industry. I hate that word because it's so cliche, but to kind of see what's happening here in Silicon Valley and apply it to industries that are traditionally slow moving, which real estate certainly is. And so that's been really exciting, being able to talk to, like engineers who worked at Google before, who know like this is what's being developed, this is the forefront, and learning about that and figuring out how to apply it to the real estate business. That's been the most exciting part.
And you recently took a bunch of students down to one of these spectacular houses and had a weekend where you try to come up with as many company ideas as you could between you. Had a little video on that. That was pretty cool to see. Exciting time.
I planned this with another classmate, and we called it a startup retreat. And the idea was just let's just invite 14 people with very different backgrounds. We had some people from a marketing background, some from a creative background, some engineers, some people who worked on self-driving cars, the full spectrum. And we said, let's see what we can come up with if we just lock ourselves in one place for 48 hours and just brainstormed the first night, came up with over 70 business ideas, and then narrowed it down.
Wow.
And ended up working on 5 of them, and 3 of the 5 ideas are actually still going. So we'll see what comes out of that.
Next $1 billion unicorn coming out of that weekend retreat.
Who knows? Yeah, that would be amazing. No, it's been a lot of fun working with people on these kind of ideas.
Well, Malte, it's been an absolute pleasure for me to get to know you over this last year, and it's very exciting to see what you're up to. I get inspired every day, following you and following what you're up to, and appreciate you coming on J Talk and chatting with us today.
Thanks.
And I'm not going to let you off. You are going to sign this. Thanks a lot.